Should you be worried as an investor? To Capitalistpig hedge fund manager Jonathan Hoenig, former Trump campaign Michigan co-chair Lena Epstein, and After the Bell co-host David Asman. So, Johnny Hoenig, to you first. Is this the start of something that should worry you?
It should, Neil. It should worry. I mean, forget the trade war. The trade war has already been declared, Neil, and it's been declared against Americans, American consumers who want to do the unspeakable, buy a washing machine that happened to be made in South Korea, save a little money. This, unfortunately, I think is where the president falls off the rails. Now, I know the economy is doing very well, but to keep it doing very well, he needs to come out in support of free trade, not of tariffs, as he's been not only just threatening, but now enacting in just the past week right here in America.
It's like he's stomping on his own party, Lena. I mean, he must know the risk this has.
Let's be very clear. There is no trade war, and President Trump knows what he's doing. I served as President Trump's statewide co-chair when nobody said that it would be possible that he would become president, and everybody had him all wrong when it comes to the success that he has had. And I feel very strongly that President Trump knows what he's doing when it comes to trade. The Chinese government has subsidized the solar panel industry for a long time, and we have been involved in trade deals that have compromised American sovereignty and have not put America first. We have a president who's willing to put America first. China puts China first. Japan puts Japan first. It's time that the United States put the United States first, and that is exactly what President Trump is doing when it comes to trade. President Trump supports free trade.
I don't know, Lena, I think you're a great guest on, but I tell you, you don't put Americans first when you risk having to pay more for a product that could spread beyond just those products. It's just my opinion, but David, what do you think?
I think you're right. There are a lot of Americans. There are American consumers, there are American producers, et cetera, and we have already a worrisome problem with inflation. Inflation is beginning to kick up. When you put tariffs on foreign goods, you're increasing prices for American consumers. And also, they were talking down the dollar this week in Davos. The president tried to change some of that language, but that also, if you weaken the dollar, that also increases the prices that consumers here in America pay for everything that we get from abroad. So you got to be, I agree with Lena in terms of the surge in investment in America. That's one thing that the statistics showed is very positive. We have an 11.4% surge in investment, and that's not even taking into account all the positive effects from the tax cuts. So we have a potential of really soaring. That's why the market has been soaring, because they're viewing the future potential as great. But I do worry a little bit about inflation and these hits on the consumer.
And I do buy Lena's point that, I mean, this sends a signal, America first. I think that was just what she said, Jonathan. But I do also think that, maybe you never have to implement the tariffs. Maybe you never have to do anything because you'll put the fear of God in those countries that are targeted and others, and they'll think twice about doing it. The risk with that, of course, is it escalates regardless. What do you think?
I feel very confident that we are not headed into a trade war, and
but
the experts have been
Lena,
wrong.
I'm going to let you answer that, but you hope not, and I hope you're right. Jonathan?
Well, I mean, there's two ways you can deal with people, through force or through trade. And what's made America successful, what's made America prosperous, is that it is a country that trades. It is a country that relies on trade. So when government gets now involved, and I have to laugh when a lot of Trump supporters now favor tariffs, because, Neil, if you're against cronyism, I mean, tariffs is cronyism. It's picking favored industries, picking favored companies, and benefiting them. So if you're against cronyism, if you're against tariffs, if you're against statism, you have to be for free markets and free trades. And I'll quickly say what's bewildering is how many people in the Trump administration seem to somehow feel as if practicing free trade deal puts us at a disadvantage, that we're better off.
Well, to be fair to them, Jonathan, they're arguing that these countries that do this aren't practicing free or fair trade. But, Lena, your thoughts on that?
The Trump administration, it's very inaccurate and inappropriate and unfair and untrue to say that we love tariffs or that people associated with the Trump administration support tariffs. President Trump supports free trade, and his actions have supported that claim. There is nothing wrong with supporting free trade and wanting American companies and American jobs to grow and flourish. President Trump said this morning in Switzerland, he said, the United States is open for business. We are the country to invest in, to reinvest in, to bring back your people. That is putting us at
Can I
in
just
the
say one
position
thing
of power,
to
and that is certainly
Lena?
nothing to
David,
what
go
Congress is
ahead.
for.
I want to support Lena's position on one point. We had one thing that pulled down the GDP number for 2017 was a surge in imports.
Right.
We had a 14% surge in imports. So it is true that we are a long way away from a trade war. I mean, we are importing even more than we were before. However, the language is really worrisome, and you combine that with the fact that they're talking down the dollar. Those two facts mean that consumers may end up paying a lot more in 2018 than they are now.
What do you think, Jonathan? Of course, it's consumers who pay the bill, and it's not a government thing. It's consumers who pay that tariff. It's consumers who pay
That's right.
more
It's
for those
passed
washers
on.
or solar panels. I mean, where do you see it going?
You know, that's what's so tremendously frustrating is that it's not the corporations or China that pays, it's American consumers. Just as you said, I just think there's a real disinformation campaign. I don't know, maybe Trump campaign folks say they don't love tariffs, but yet they're passing tariffs about just what trade is.
No, they said that they don't like
trade,
you, Jonathan. That's what they said.
Well, they should love trade, Neil, because trade is always win-win. Doesn't
But
matter
how
if
can
you're
you
buying a
love
washing
trading
machine.
partners, Jonathan, who screw you, right? Isn't that what the administration is saying? I'm not for the approach is saying, but if they dump this stuff on our shores, even Ronald Reagan dealt with that when Toshiba was doing this with chips in the early '80s, right?
And Harley Davidson, unfortunately, Neil, to its great detriment. But when countries engage in trade manipulation, Neil, when they pass tariffs, when they pass taxes, they're screwing their own people. They're screwing their own citizens. That's who they're hurting. So if Americans say, leave me free, I live in a free country, they should demand free trade as well.
But you also have to focus,
favors.
Jonathan, you also have to focus on what Trump has done as opposed to what he's saying, and as opposed to what he said on the campaign trail was very different from what he has been doing, at least in the first year of his presidency with regard to trade issues. So people like you who are purists on free trade, and I appreciate your gumption on that issue. I am generally so, too. But in the real world, Trump has not been acting the way he's been talking. So just wait a bit and see what actually happens.
But
Lena, are you afraid that this could
tariffs
escalate? Lena, are you afraid this could escalate? I know you're saying it's not going to be a trade war, and we hope you're right. But
I am
I've
not
seen how
concerned
this has
about this
happened in the past,
escalating.
right?
The pundits, the pollsters, and the so-called experts have been wrong about Donald Trump almost every step of the way.